Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Curly K Glam, and of course today we are watching GROWNISH Season 3 Episode 13 called No Halo. And it only took 13 episodes for GROWNISH to finally give us something to be excited for, or at least a little bit on edge for. And it started out, real normal. Zoe is back home, of course. And I'm starting to think that Zoe is having feelings of regret because she's not around all the time. And so she's missing everything that her friends are involved in. And she's in Nomi's room and has gotten the room all done up for Nomi's return with the baby, which I think Sis might have been pregnant and had a baby in real life because she has been gone for more than half the season. So I think that, they had to kind of put her being pregnant on in real life and try to make it a part of the GROWNISH storyline, which is not bad because they kind of sort of, if you know the history of Different World, they kind of sort of wanted to do that with Denise when Denise got pregnant in real life with Zoe Kravitz, but Bill Cosby decided that Denise Huxtable was not pregnant and Lisa Bonet was. So that's why we never got that storyline from Different World. But that's neither here nor there. So back to the plot. Zoe goes downstairs and has a talk with Anna, Jazz, and Sky. Jazz and Sky come back from NCAA finals and they have been victorious. And then we also find out that Jazz had a one-night stand. I'm not sure if it's with Pie Boy or not, but I'm pretty sure that's not him because that doesn't look like him. So maybe that's somebody from the track team. But the point of the matter is that Jazz has had an encounter outside of her supposed to be waiting for Doug. So here we go. This proposes a problem because Sis is supposed to be abstaining and focusing on her track career, which is her whole reason why she wasn't with Doug. But if she wanted to have an encounter, it would most likely make sense to be with Doug. But I guess since she was at finals, Doug was not, available. So, now we see her having pie on her face because both of her boos are walking up to her at the same time. And so now she about to be embarrassed. So I never noticed how much I missed the camaraderie of the people in the scenes because in the prior two seasons, we got a lot of camaraderie with the people as a friend group. And so far in season 3, the stories have been mostly focused on individuals and what they have going on. Oh, and before I click off and start the show back, let's talk about Aaron real quick because typically when truth is being said, and it's happened in real life, it happened with Jamel Hill and it also happened with Colin Kaepernick. When the truth is being said, and in order for the corporation to save face, they try to find these legal loopholes that seem like bribery. It would be smart on their end, but it just looks like shiesty because they offered him to forgive his student loans because you said you don't want your tuition dollars. You said you don't want your tuition dollars to be invested into private prisons. So in order for your tuition dollars not to be invested in private prisons, we're going to make you sign an NDA and we're going to forgive all your student loans, but we need all your shenanigans to end, Aaron. And so now Aaron is in a moral crisis because he has to decide on whether he wants to not be in debt anymore or whether he's going to stand up for the right thing. And the school knows that investing in private prisons is not the right thing, but do they care? Absolutely not. They're doing what's in the best interest for their pockets, which is how capitalism works. And unfortunately, on Aaron's behalf, he is going to have to come up with a decision on whether he is going to watch out for himself or if he's going to watch out for the interests of the black and brown people who are being incarcerated at high rates. So, it's just that whole situation is just trash. And for her to propose that to him went like trash. Ooh, Jazz. Oh my God. Oh my God, y'all. Why is GROWNISH doing this? My heartstrings. Bruh. Y'all. Doug sent Jazz them flowers. He's so proud of his good his boo. He is proud of her, y'all, and he want her back. He love her. He miss her. He want her, girl. And now she really guilty because she was out there being, free. Which, that was a part of the agreement because it had a clean break. But it's just a simple fact that now sis feel guilty because she still very much, very much, very much deep in her heart love Doug. But after she tell Doug what happened on her one night stand, he probably not gonna take sis back because men's egos are fragile. Y'all know they fragile. And he actually was waiting, which is very commendable because usually, even if a girl and a guy are really deeply in love, sometimes guys have a tendency to stray and go and sow their wild oats, in other places. And then by the time they get back with their girlfriend, now another woman has feelings, has gotten all involved, and now they're all entangled and in a love triangle. But now on this time, it's the flip side of things. So usually it's the guy, but now it's the girl. So now I guess we're going to get this perspective of if a guy is going to be forgiving of, encounters outside of their relationship, even if they were on break, but the break was mutual. Zoe and Aaron have an awkward encounter, but of course, Aaron is always looking to Zoe for advice. They always go to each other for this deep advice. I guess that's one connection they will always have, is that when each one of them feels like they're in a pickle, they can always, go to the other person for advice. I'm now saying, that I think this is going to be a potential problem because you can still see they have that click and they're trying their best to be platonic, but they can't, they have feelings for each other. Of course, Aaron's still in the pickle because he doesn't know what he wants to do. And Zoe, tells him that she thinks that the opportunity is great, but morally he will feel bad because he's an activist and he's into things like this, and this is what he always wants to do. He always wants to stand up for the right thing. So him taking the money would make him look like a sellout, all in all. And we're going to see how Doug takes the news. I'm pretty sure, God, I hate this GROWNISH. Why y'all playing? I don't care. This could have been anybody else. But because we are so attached to Doug and Jazz, y'all just had to make this happen between them. So now we got to almost be near about in tears because Doug finna get his heart broke. Okay, sidebar. I always am advocating for Vivek, y'all, and I totally forgot to mention that Vivek has been lying and living a double life with Haiti. He's out here being a street pharmacist, and he don't want her to find out because he really likes her, and he doesn't want her to know. And so now it's come to the point where she is confronting him about where he's been, what he's been doing, and why he's been ducking off with random people. I'm sorry, Vivek. I still love you. Okay, so clearly a young G like me is very emotional during this episode of GROWNISH because GROWNISH, this is what we've always wanted. Y'all finally have delivered, so applause for y'all because this is what we wanted. Not all this Zoe flight back and forth crap. This is what we wanted. We wanted a nice, full episode that left us yearning for more. This is why I started liking GROWNISH in the first place, because now I feel like I need to know what Doug said, or are they going to have another conversation? I need to know. So, of course, I'm going to do Jazz and Doug last. Also, of course, Vivek lied because he really isn't very much with Heidi, and he doesn't want her to know. Of course, he started off telling the truth, but then he tried to spin it and make it a joke. So, of course, we know he's a street pharmacist, but obviously he doesn't want Heidi to know that. So he lied and said he's selling term papers. So now he done put himself in a pickle, and now he had to do his term paper, but then in exchange for a done term paper, he had to give out some street candy to a person for a term paper. So now, we just side-eyeing Vivek a little bit because we like, Vivek, how are you going to handle this film? Because she's going to find out. Of course, Zoe is living with regret, and we're starting to actually see it on TV. I think so far Grownish has handled it well, because at least with A Different World, we really didn't get much closure with Denise leaving school. The show just kind of shifted, and she went back to the Cosby Show. So, and there was one crossover episode where Dwayne did go visit Denise one time or twice, and I think the one time she had a boyfriend, and then the second time he found out she was married or something like that. But at least with Grownish, they're actually painting the picture where Zoe is missing from scenes and a lot of stuff, and so it's we're getting more character development, but we're also seeing the emotion she has behind her, seeing her the results of her decision. So her decision was to leave CalU and to pursue her dream, but in order to pursue her dream, she didn't realize all that she would be giving up with her life at CalU, like having those student experiences, such as going to field day. She couldn't get into field day because you had to be a student in order to participate. So then she had to go to Titanium, but by herself, which, a lot of the times it ended up being by herself. Of course, Jazz's heart got broken. She wasn't able to comfort her like they usually do, because it was times when Zoe broke up with Cash, when Zoe broke up with Luca, when Zoe broke up with Cash and Luca. Yeah. And I think it was one more person. Oh, for all the numerous Aaron conversations, they've been there to kind of comfort Zoe. So now it's Zoe's turn to comfort Jazz, and she has to leave. So she's missing out on that. Also, when Anna did the baby's room, or Nomi's room, she was like, I feel left out because everybody else has all this going on. So Anna actually, did a montage in Luna's room and had pictures of all her friends, so when Luna finally gets there and they meet her, that they can all have this bond. And also, I guess with like Aaron and everything, the reason why she feels like she lost Aaron in the first place is because she decided to do that job, and so she waited too late, and so Aaron decided to entertain Rochelle. Honestly, on a woman's perspective, I think I can understand both sides of Rochelle. Of course, I said in the last review that I didn't agree necessarily with Rochelle confronting Zoe, because I felt like if you're feeling some type of way in your relationship, of course, the mature thing would be to do is to go and talk to the person that you're in a relationship with instead of the female. And I still feel that way. I feel like that was very out of order, but I also think that it was out of order a little bit for Aaron. I know Zoe was convenient, but if you feel some type of way, the first person typically you would confide in is the person that you're in a relationship with. And so I'm guessing because Rochelle knows that there's history between Aaron and Zoe, it's kind of like a slap in the face, but she don't want to look a particular way. You get what I'm saying? Like, sorry, y'all gotta rotate. She don't want to look like she's jealous or, intimidated or, like just, what's the word? She don't want to look like she's insecure. That's the word. She don't want to look insecure and like everything's, Zoe this, Zoe that. She don't want Zoe to be like one of the main issues. So of course, she's just gonna walk out. I mean, her and Aaron are gonna talk about it, but I'm pretty sure 100% that when Aaron finds out the conversation that Zoe and Rochelle had, he's definitely going to leave Rochelle, and that's going to be his way out to go back to Zoe. Because I'm sure before season 3 ends, unless Grownish plays this game going into the 4th season, Zoe and Aaron might get together by the end of this season. It's over for Luca. We ain't even seen Luca in about 5 episodes. Obviously, bro had other projects that he was working on, because he ain't been in no episodes like that since him and Jillian was playing hot lava on the floor and he tried to get sis that key. So, of course, Jazz and Doug's heart is broken. He finds out that Jazz slept with one of her teammates. Um, I really hate this for Jazz because she was the one who created this circumstance on her own. I feel like had she did the most mature thing she knew how to do. She felt like, well, if I can't focus and my relationship is the issue, well, I just need to be out of my relationship, and then when I achieve my goals, I can always go back. Luckily, she had a good man in which she could do that with, but it's just a simple fact that now that she's had that encounter with Ricky or whatever her name was, and she went and told Doug, it made it a sticky situation. Because whether she told Doug now or she didn't tell Doug and omitted the truth and found out later, because Ricky was going to approach her again, I'm sure, on camera while she was with Doug. Doug was going to find out, and he would have been mad about it either way. So this time will tell. I haven't seen the trailer for next week's episode because, typically on Hulu, they don't show like the peep into next week like they do on TV. But I don't know. Like, Doug might need some time to bounce back from this, or he might just be done with Jazz and just go. But Chloe really hammered in on the acting. Like, she really made us feel like she was regretful. She really made us feel like, dang, I lied to somebody I love. Dang, she really made us feel like sorrow. Like, she was very much like, I understand it's Sky, and honestly, this is why you don't listen to other people, even if it's your family. I know Sky had her best interest at heart and she wanted the best for her sister, but at the same time, Sky is in a relationship and she gets to have those, pleasures of being in love with somebody and getting to know somebody and having somebody there for you. And when Jazz is gone and from being in that long, passionate, deeply rooted relationship with Doug to being by herself, of course she's going to get lonely. And because she's the one who initiated the thing with Doug, she don't want to go back to Doug and be like, no, this ain't working. No. And then, of course, she saw Doug with Lola, and Doug was questioning on going with Lola, and she was jealous, which is why she made the clean break. Like, it's a lot that goes into a gray area in a relationship, as we're seeing on TV. So, I guess I can say I like how Grownish is doing the Jazz and Doug thing. But it's just the fact that, like, we really have to sit here and go through this because we actually really liked Jazz and Doug. So for them to have to go back and forth, and Doug, like, they're really, centering in on Doug missing Jazz, and the distance is hurting him, but he's getting through it because this is for her and he wants to be supportive to her. Like, it's just a lot. It's a lot. Poor Doug, poor Jazz, but poor Doug, because, at first, I'm sorry, y'all, this video is getting kind of lengthy, but this episode was actually really good. Poor Doug, because he really was waiting for her. Like, he was really being supportive, where he was supportive if they was together or while they not together, Like, it really showed you how much he really cared for Jazz, especially someone in college. Because typically, like I said, boys in college, they might care for a woman, but they still go out for the most part and do what they want to do because they're young and they feel like, this is my time. I'm in college. Like, nothing holds me back. And then he gets with Jazz, and it's just like, dang. Like, their relationship has been like, except for that time he got mad at her about being an Instagram model. Like, everything between them was pretty, like, romantic, deep, hot, passionate. Like, they were all in for each other. So I just felt like if Jazz would have just was like, Doug, I need you to be a little bit more supportive. I can't be hanging out, doing this. I need you to help me be more disciplined. I feel like he would have did that. But because Sky was all on Jazz, I'm not blaming Sky because Jazz has a mind of her own, but because she made it seem like she wasn't doing times and she wanted to do this for the Olympics and she just needed, like, it's a lot. So, and we're only on episode 13, which means for season 3, we probably got a good 8 to 10 episodes left, because typically GROWNISH has between like 21 and 23 episodes. So we got a good 8 to 10 episodes left to see what's going to happen. And they've started production on season 4. So I hope they bring this back in the fall and don't have us waiting a whole dang on year like they did this time. GROWNISH don't do that. But shout out to Kenya Barris. Kenya Barris, y'all did a good job on this episode. So no complaints here. This episode was good, y'all. The tea. We got what we wanted. So hopefully next week they can come back swinging like they did this week. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, y'all. Leave me your opinions down below. Let me know, y'all. What did y'all think of tonight's episode? Because I could have cried, literally. Like, comment, and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at CurlyCakeLamb. And I'll be back next week for episode 14. Deuces.